On my main video, we already worked through this problem, but I'm going to do a quick one to show you how you can use Desmos even for one like this. So what I have done is I've set up Desmos, and you'll notice I have put the left side of the equation in one equation for Desmos, and I've put the right side of the equation in the other. And the only difference I've made is I didn't do capital A, B, and C, but if that bothers you, you can put it in exactly as is with a capital A, capital B, capital C. And now what I can do is it asks me if I want sliders, and sliders are tasty little burgers. So anytime somebody offers me free sliders, I say sure, and that's a good thing for Desmos. If they want to give you sliders, go ahead and take the sliders. And now what we're going to see is we can see initially if A, B, and C all equal 1, it does not, the purple graph does not match the original graph in black. And I want to play matchy-matchy and get it to match. The only problem is I don't have multiple choice. I have these weird little boxes. So the first thing I can do is I could say, okay, if A is 12 and B is negative 31, can I get it to match? So it's close with 12, negative 31, negative 7. You can see it's close but not quite. I can try negative 3, close but not quite. Let me scroll this up a little bit so we can see all the choices. And then C is 13, not quite. C is 16, still not quite. So all of those are potential answers. I basically now have proved that the combination A being 12 and B being negative 31 is wrong. And unfortunately, this is going to take a little bit of time. That's why I encourage you to do this the correct way. But you could keep going and say, okay, let's do A is 12, B is 33, and C is negative 7. That's off. Negative 3 is still off. 13 seems to be pretty close. 16, not quite as close as 13. Now what this might begin to make me think is that, hey, maybe this B value of negative 33 is reasonable, but I don't know for sure, so I'm going to have to keep going and try, that's the 43 with the 16, close, with the 13, that looks like it's really close. In fact, that almost looks like a match. But you notice if you zoom in a little bit, always zoom in if you're playing matchy-matchy with one like this, you can see it's a little bit off. So that lets me think that, several of my numbers might be right. If you change this to a negative 51, you notice it's off by more. So that makes me think the negative 43 and the 13 combination is really good. So that might mean, hey, it could be those are right, but I'm going to go ahead and keep being systematic. So that would be a negative 40. If I try the negative 51 with the 13, not it. With the 16, not it. With the negative 3, nowhere close. Negative 7, nowhere close. So that begins to make me think, well, C is probably either 13 or 16. So I can just keep messing and say, okay, let's see if I can get it closer. C's 13. What if B is 43? Does that make it better or worse? That makes it better. Something's still off, so maybe A should be something different. Should it be 16? No. What about 13? Yes. So eventually, with a lot of trial and error, I'm able to get the exact match and play matchy-matchy and get a perfect match between those two things. But once again, that takes some patience. I would recommend doing these problems like this the correct way, but you can always use this way to check the answer you got or to narrow it down if you have a little extra time on your hands at the end of the test.